because I was being driven by several passions. Obviously my passion for and love of photography and the arts. Also, you know, my love of visual communications in general. But as the conversation progressed and the research became a part of things, my love of science also sort of got thrown in, and the idea of creative problem solving became a very important component of the piece. I think that the best science is always creative. But I think that there's a tendency to leave other kinds of creatives out of the conversation. Artists tend to be written off as dreamers and not especially practical, when the reality is, especially certainly in photography, there's so much science and math involved in my expertise that if people think that I'm flighty and not too bright because all I can do is photography, they're kind of missing a big picture of what photography is. And I also think that there are creative people out there who want to be a part of the solution and who want to be a part of the research and the conversation. And that if we bring scientific research and art together, we can begin to confront some of the challenges that are going to face us very soon.
Clay Shirky is very inspiring to me, and we talked about him and his idea of how social media allow us in the millions to cooperate with one another and learn things from one another that we couldn't have done until we invented social media. But in the back of my mind, I've kept thinking about C.P. Snow, who was a scientist, author in the mid-20th century, and his critique was that if only the arts and sciences, if only the humanities and sciences would come together and solve the world's problems, they could solve the world's problems. So his critique was, why won't you get together? Please get together. We have a lot of large problems to solve, and they could be solved if those two branches of knowledge building would just get together.
And every day communication changes, and every day the internet changes, and the social media format that we were all using yesterday is not the social format we'll all be using tomorrow. And we have to be on our game. Websites like Ushahidi are literally groundbreaking in terms of the way that they allow us to gather and analyze raw data. And creative applications of that kind of technology has the potential to change everything. We could be doing research and gathering statistics live, not waiting for the study to end. We can watch the world change on a computer screen, and that's going to mean breaking down some of the walls that define research and making a new set of rules. The standards are important, but the standards should match the time and should match the available tools. And we have incredible tools that we've never had available to us before, and so we're not using them yet. And that made me realize how much I want to be a part of that conversation about how we're going to use the media tools that we have, how we're going to bring ethics into that conversation. The Wild West approach of throwing information onto the internet is incredible to watch, not necessarily the healthiest for us as a society, and there's a middle ground where we can take all of this wonderful technology and put it to use and, you know, fall in line with Clay Shirky's approach to cognitive surplus and creative generosity. and we can change the world, and I really believe. The questions are really, really important, and they're maybe as important, if not more important, than the answers, because when we're not questioning, we're assuming, and that is, in this particular project, one of the most damaging things to the family.
So this seems to me, this project, to be one that uses Clay Shirky's sense of collaboration and creative generosity, and resolves potentially the problem, or at least encourages people from the two cultures of humanities and science to come together. And if we had problems in the 20th century, we have a lot more difficult problems in the 21st century. And we have the possibility of coming together across social media to have an even better possibility of resolving those issues. So I'm really excited about this project.
I involved Carol Dykers and Marguerite A. Stryker in the conversation. And in a very short period of time, we're videotaping all of the subjects of my photography. We're creating a catalog of information about real life bullying experiences from both sides of the conversation. We're talking to parents about what it does to families. We're talking to church leaders and teachers about what it does to communities, which led me to understand that this process that we've undertaken can be applied to anything. Carol Dykers has a doctorate in communications. I'm a photographer. You put us together and we have an arts and science-based research project with an art show. Following that same basic pattern, we've already got in development our next project, which is merging the talents of a musician with the talents of a neuroscientist in an attempt to see how music can help heal the brain. There are literally countless applications for this kind of work and this kind of data collection, which has made us realize the importance of the work that we're doing. And so we made it formally the Bully Pulpit Alliance, which is basically attempting to do these projects over and over and over again and aggregate data in a new way. And make that data accessible to the people who can do the work that maybe we can't do. We're not public school teachers, we're not family therapists, but we can gather the information and make it available to those people that are working with the families or that are members of the families, and their use of the information is what makes it important.
I don't think we know where we're going. I think it's really exciting.
What?
Well, that is. I mean, that's part of the. That is part of the fun of
Exactly.
it. Part of the fun is not knowing, and it's not already all set up, and you're not having to fit into a, But this is not about starting another nonprofit and grabbing another board. It's about getting things done.